How are you all? Dave Rossio here from KPM Fuel Systems. Welcome to our fuel room. Today we just want to answer a question that's been asked a little bit of us, and I hope we can demonstrate it in our fuel tank simulator here. It's mainly to do with the Mustang fuel modules, but it does cover the range of fuel modules across the board in the Camaros and the Mustangs and the Jeeps and Trackhawks and so forth. So we're going to use a Mustang module here because the question has been asked by a Mustang enthusiast. And what the question is why can't we just put bigger pumps in our standard fuel module? So what I want to do this morning is demonstrate that for you in the fuel simulator, and let's see what happens. So what I've got at the moment, we've got a standard Mustang fuel module, just putting away there. It's almost at its maximum flow. I know that because the fuel pressure is just dropping below its standard level. I'll just drop the flow a little bit. It's at 197 litres per hour. If I just drop the flow a little bit, down 170, it reaches its intended 58 pound of fuel pressure. So as soon as it drops down from 58, we know we're maxing out that standard fuel pump, and that's about right for a standard FM or FN Mustang, about 190 to 200 litres per hour. I'm just going to set it back there again. Yeah, see the pressure has just dropped down to 56. We've maxed the fuel module. Now 200 litres per hour is about roughly about your 450 to 500 flywheel horsepower. So that equates pretty well to the Mustang OE Mustang. What we want to focus on though is not the output of the pump, but how the module is maintaining fuel, which is the most important thing we've been talking about over several videos now. It's the pot maintaining fuel allows you to have your fuel supply, run your fuel level down low, and have no surge, no problems around corners on takeoff. And the manufacturers really commit to making sure that's the case. So in this case, the standard pot is maintaining. It's not cascading. It's just doing its job. I'm going to just drop it back a little bit, back to 58 pound. We're just maxing out the module a little bit here. Let's just drop it back down, ever so slightly. Yep, about 190 litres per hour. That's about maximum, but the pot is maintaining. I want you to see that. So if we can have a look inside the pot, let's see it just cascading and overflowing. It's about fuel levels about halfway up the pot there. So as you can see, the pot's maintaining quite nicely. It's at 187 litres per hour, which is maxing out the pumps. That's fine. That's your 500 horsepower at the flywheel. But your pot's full. Your fuel level is about halfway up the pot, so it's doing its job perfectly. Keep in mind, this is the standard Mustang module or pot, and it's only got the one Venturi, but one Venturi is all it needs to do its job. What we're going to do now, we're going to pull out this Mustang standard module, have a look underneath, see what the Venturi looks like, and then we're going to replace this pot with a KPM Fuel Systems 1500 setup and do the same scenario. Before we put the KPM module in there, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you what would happen if you put any larger pump in this pot. Now at the moment, like I said, we're flowing at its maximum flow at 190 litres per hour. I'm just going to up this flow, and we're going to simulate what a bigger pump would do in a standard pot. Now you won't see the flow meter at the moment, we're concentrating on the pot, but I've got it at 300 litres per hour. You can see that draining immediately. I'm just going to back that off, or else we're going to run out too quickly now. All right, I've backed it off back down to 200. Okay. I'm just going to do that a bit slower. Okay, we're back there about 180, right at the maximum fuel supply of this module. Perfect. We're going to go beyond the maximum supply now, which it wasn't intended to do because it's only got the one venturi. Notice we're gonna go a little bit more flow. I'm going to go slightly more flow, and what happens? We're at 220 now, and we're draining the pot. Okay, now the pot's almost drained. We've still got fuel at the bottom of the module, but the pot's drained. I need to back that off or we'll run the pump dry. We're at 290 litres per hour, so we haven't got that much. We haven't gone much more. We've got 90 litres per hour more. I'm going to back that off. I'm going to back it off to normal standard, and you'll see that the refill will start to work. What that's showing is as soon as you put a bigger pump or two pumps in the standard pot, you're going to have maintain problems. What will happen? The pumps will outrun the venturi system. Let's take this one out. Let's put a KPM one in there. Okay, so what I've done, I've taken the OE Mustang fuel module out, and I want to show you underneath what we've got. So that's the venturi there. So that venturi pushes into the housing by one side, and with a little stud, and it's got a venturi on the other side. So it's basically got the one venturi pulling that fuel up, and it's got a one refill valve. So one venturi pump, one refill valve. That's on the standard module. Our KPM fuel module, each side of that is its own separate venturi. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 venturi pumps and 2 refill valves. So it's about two to three times the ability to keep this module refilled by the venturis and the refill valve. Let's have a look at that on the simulator. Okay, so we've fitted the KPM 1500 fuel module with the 4 venturis as we've showed you. I've got it running at roughly what the Mustang OE module is running at, about 190 litres per hour. You can see the cascade on the KPM module is more than cascading. It's actually overflowing, which is great. So the 4 venturis are doing great. What that means is the pumps aren't outrunning the venturis. We're going to see how far we can go on our KPM module before we can outrun the venturis. Now remember, we got up to about 280 litres per hour on a standard module, and we were draining the pot, meaning the pot was getting drained quite quickly at maximum. That means you can't put a bigger pump in a standard pot. It'll just drain it really quickly. That's why you need to have a dedicated developed pot that is match setted to the pumps that you're using. So we're at 500 litres per hour now, and the 4 venturis are working beautifully. You can see it's still cascading. We're at 600 litres per hour, still cascading. We're at 800 litres per hour, still cascading. We're also simulating an empty secondary side of the tank. So the secondary pickup's got nothing to pick up. It's only the primary side that's got half a gallon of fuel. But we're still cascading. We're way beyond the limits of our fuel pump because we've dropped pressure right off. You know, we're at 800 litres per hour. Let's go back to the limits, which is about 600 litres per hour. There we go, back to 58 pound, cascading perfectly. What that's telling you is that you cannot outrun the KPM fuel module. The 4 venturis will keep the module full at all times, even beyond the capacity of the 2 pumps. That's the difference. So I hope that explains why you can't just take your standard pot and put a single bigger pump or 2 bigger pumps in it. It has to be engineered and flowed together to work properly. So guys who are trying to use their standard modules, I get it, you want to save a few dollars, but in the end you're going to have surging. You're going to need to have half a tank of fuel to make sure that pot's full. It basically acts as a hanger system without a pot. So like I've said previously, do it once, do it right, get yourself a KPM fuel system, put it in, it's a direct fit, and away you go. Guys, any questions, I'd love to answer them. We'd love to do some demo videos for you. Anything that you need to know, hopefully we can demonstrate it in the fuel simulator. I hope that made a bit of sense. See you next time.